Good morning and welcome to PWR Today. I'm the man they call Meathead, joined by Mr. Dameon Nelson himself. Good morning, Dameon.
Mr. Wow.
Mr.
I finally achieved status in this world.
Well, with me, it's been 22 years. I don't think I've ever called you Mr. before.
You know, I appreciate it after the graduation address I did over the weekend. I understand.
Fair enough. You know, and 22 years, I've called you a lot of other names, and I might have called you Mr. I said, listen here, Mr. But wow, never in a fine and acceptable manner.
Well, we all have to come up sometime, so I appreciate it.
You know, it's only been 47 years for me. I may have turned into an adult.
40?
Maybe
What?
an adult. I may have turned into an adult today.
No. Was there a 47 there?
Anyway, let's continue on.
Good God, man, you're old.
Yeah, we don't talk about that here anymore.
Sweet God, you're as old as Hero.
Hero's got 1 month on me, actually.
Huh.
Same year, 1 month. He's June, I'm July.
And I'm several years younger.
I wouldn't say several. Remember, I know people that you know. Don't go there.
I don't think you do.
So while we have fun and we jest and we have a good time talking, because of course we enjoy each other's conversation, we have to start this one off on a little bit of a sadder note here. As of this taping, it is still unknown where Shad is. For those that don't know, Shad Gaspard, is it Gaspard or Gaspard?
Gaspard.
Shad Gaspard and his 10-year-old son were out swimming in the Pacific Ocean off the California coast. Some very strong riptides apparently pulled both of them out. One of the stories out there that is believed, after PWR did its research, that rescuers did see Shad, spoke with him. He said, please take my son first, and we have not seen from Shad since. So the son is okay. The family would like to let you know that it's a difficult time. They are not willing to make any kind of statements, any kind of declarations, or any kind of news. And they ask that obviously you don't hassle them about it. But Dameon, this does not look good. No. I can tell you my best memory of Shad, and again, it sounds like we're talking about a postmortem, and we're not. I'm telling you, you were sitting there next to me when this happened. WrestleMania 24. We were, I don't know, row ZZ or something like that at Raw right after WrestleMania. And we didn't know, we didn't go on the internet, we didn't look to hear that yo, pop a 40 and check your rolling. It's crime time. I lost it. I was absolutely just, I popped. I popped right there at the fact that they were back. And I'm hoping for the best. I really am. Dameon.
Yeah, the unfortunate reality is the best is probably going to be the worst. Look, it's a sad situation, but it's I won't say great at the same time, but when you have a man who is willing enough to tell the officials who were there to help to go out and save his son first, and then he, for now, what seems to be about 24 hours to not be found, it's profoundly sad. It really is. But look, the reality is that there's less than likely of a chance he's going to be found alive, and that sucks. It really does. These riptides and all the things that are associated with it, it's a sad story. It truly is a sad story, but he went out a hero. He saved his son. His wife, from what I understand, is still beachside, waiting for the authorities to bring him back in, but there's only so much time you can, survive in those elements. But at the same time, there could be a chance that he's latched onto a boat, latched onto a surfboard, latched onto something to keep him afloat. And Shad has seemingly gotten through a lot of turbulent times in the wrestling world. And this one, while challenging, it doesn't look good.
No, it's gonna be difficult, and the worst is the not knowing. So for the family, for everyone that's been touched by Shad at some point, again, we're all hoping for the best. But we're going to have to be prepared for not.
You know what I got to say is this could be one of those situations, unfortunately, where and just sucks to say it, but so many times, that these people go missing and they're never found. So they become presumed dead. And I'm not wishing that. I'm not hoping that. I actually hope this is going to be a much better story. But how tragic would it be to not have the body recovered, not be able to have the proper burial, not have all of that? And it just goes to show, no matter how big, no matter how strong you are, Mother Nature tends to always prevail. And it's a bad situation. I gotta say this too. We reported it on our Twitter account, PWR360 at PWR360, and several people chimed in and wondered why WWE hadn't touched the situation for one of their former superstars. And how can they? I guess is the question. What do you say? And how do you address it? But the fans have legioned behind Shad, even though it's been several years since we've seen him in WWE. But he, in his short time there, left an impression, and that impression will be Brooklyn. I hope everything is okay, but it just doesn't look good right now.
No, and and not only impression on everyone, like I said, an impression on myself as well. Crime Time was one of my favorite tag teams during that era. They were just fun. It was fun to watch them.
Yeah. Remember in the back of the truck, you'd appreciate this when they were selling stuff. It was similar to, I don't remember their name from.
No, I'll tell you. It was from in Living Color. It was Keenan and Damon. I don't remember the character names, but
yeah. And all right. So there are three things to weigh against. So in Living Color was 6 p.m. on Sundays on Fox. Yep. And then you had Mad TV and Saturday Night Live. I was always a Mad TV fan. Mrs. Swan, Bonita Fontiqua Petrel, Fire Marshal Bill. It made stars out of Jim Carrey. It made stars out of Jamie Foxx. But In Living Color was so innovative. That show made J-Lo. J-Lo was one of the fly girls.
J-Lo was literally introduced as this girl that no one had heard of, and J-Lo popped from that. I mean, not only the Wayans. Obviously, the Wayans got the rub, from Keenan, from Kim, from Sean, from all of them. I mean, David Allen Greer has been working for 40 years since In Living Color as well.
Yes, he has. So if you're listening to this right now and you haven't seen, because I understand Meathead's old, In Living Color, go back, watch it. Fuck freaking Fire Marshal Bill, Mrs. Swan, the Jerry Springer and Oprah takes a.
I was going to say Mrs. Swan was Mad TV.
Oh wait, I'm not talking Living Color. Yeah. Well, let's talk more about Mad TV because Stewart, Queen Burger. We got a complicated order. Just good stuff.
Look what I can do.
Just good stuff.
And I don't know if you know this. I hope he hears this because I want him to know I still think of him. A very good personal friend that went to high school with myself was in the last season of Mad TV.
Really?
Yeah, Eric Price. I hope you're listening, Eric. I miss you. Come home. I know you're out in LA. Eric Price has done work on a couple movies. He was my favorite Eric Price thing was not Eric Price at all. It was watching him watch Charlie Sheen and Michael Jordan for an underwear commercial as he was just the valet. So a lot of good stuff out there, but we got to kind of button this.
Best wishes to Shad and his family. I mean, it's a truly sad situation, truly tragic situation, just to be enjoying your time on the beach when you can finally go back to the beach and then for something so tragic to happen. Yeah, for something so tragic to happen. It's, there's too much tragedy in the wrestling world. And we're going to see on Vice TV tomorrow night another tragic story.
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
It's just, how much heartbreak is there as a wrestling fan when your heroes go away?
Yeah, and let's segue into that too. Darkside of the Ring has got its season finale coming up tonight. This is another one that I wouldn't say it necessarily hits home so much with you and myself, or Dave Hero, but this is our era. Okay, this is something that we were there watching. We weren't at the show, but for those that don't know, I worked in a place that was also a blast zone. Blast zones where you can go see before the network. You can go see the pay-per-views. I believe you were in the building that night, or were you somewhere else watching?
A few times. No, I was there a few times.
No, I'm talking about for this particular pay-per-view that they're talking about where Owen passed.
Oh, my God, Over the Edge 99. Talk about a freaking ironic title. And I hate to say that. I'm not diminishing it at all.
Right.
I think I've said this on the show before, but just like it's fascinating how these things come together in a bad way sometimes. And I remember watching, and I think I was at Romines High Pockets there on South 27th in Milwaukee, and I just remember the weirdness after that promo when they came back, and JR and the King at ringside, and they're talking, and JR says something to the effect of, we got big problems out here. We didn't know at the time. And then you go to the promo with Jeff Jarrett and Deborah, and Deborah can't hold herself together, and you realize something real is happening. And JR spends a good portion of the next few minutes trying to tell us that, this is not part of tonight's wrestling programming, if you will. This is not. He
spelled it out for us. Yeah, he spelled it out and said Owen Hart, known as the Blue Blazer, was to descend. And I believe you were in the building that night. I know Cousin Jack. I know Dave was at the building. This was as real as it got. I mean, because we were all there amongst, what our building held, 500, 600, 700 people. We were all watching this together. And this was a tough one. And then knowing what's going on after. So we get a little bit deeper story told to us through the Hart family, through, everybody else that had to deal with it. Tonight, we're going to see his wife. And this is probably the first time we've really heard from Martha explain what she went through. Owen the man.
First time ever.
Yeah, Owen the man. We're going to hear from his wife tonight. So, folks, if you don't have that DVR set, Darkside Ring, it's on Vice TV. It is the season finale. You're going to want to see this.
Yeah, what's interesting, Meathead, is there's been a lot of WWE hasn't touched it really, but it was their story to tell, and they're the only ones that ever told the story. And we know Bret Hart came back. We know that several people, there was a lot of controversy on that night from Kansas City. Should the show go on? And I agree it should have gone on, because in that moment, in that time, you have a lot of decisions to make. And if you're Vince McMahon, you got to say, and think about the courage, quite frankly, Vince McMahon showed that night. Understanding that what he decided to present as a show ended up in the death of one of his best stars, yet he decided to continue to go on. That takes a lot of courage, and he did that. And whether you agree with it or not, the shade that has been cast over that night comes to fruition with Martha tonight on Dark Side of the Ring. And she's done some interviews, one most notably saying that something I've said for quite a while, because I do believe it. And it's tough, because we've got a lot of friends who've gone into the WWE Hall of Fame, but it is a moneymaker. It is nothing more than there to draw a crowd, draw an audience, draw more revenue for WWE. While I do believe that they think it means a lot more, look, let's pull the curtain back. They pay these people to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it's all a wrestling gimmick. And a lot of people for a lot of times have said that Owen Hart needs to be inducted into the Hall of Fame posthumously. It's just, it's almost Benoit territory. And I hate to compare the two, but they are very, very sensitive. And if you're WWE, and you'll find out, as Martha said, that she agrees with that WWE's Hall of Fame is non-existent. It is nothing more than a ploy. It is nothing more than a moneymaker for the company, and she will never allow Owen to be inducted in it. And there has been a concerted effort at times recently to not just induct Owen, but to look at inducting Martha, look at inducting Nancy Benoit, for the people who suffered as a result of the wrestling business. And that's what I struggle with the Hall of Fame. If they did treat it as truly a wrestling Hall of Fame with no bullcrap, no politics, none of the drama, none of the backstage shenanigans, then they would be doing the right thing. And there are several people, Demolition included, by the way, there are several people who have not yet been inducted into the Hall of Fame, which keeps it from being legitimate. And tonight, on Dark Side of the Ring, you're going to find out the primary reason why Owen Hart is one of those people. WWE is never going to induct him. They can't. They can't. There's legalities involved. There's lawsuits. There's all of these things. As a publicly traded company, they will never induct him into the Hall of Fame. And that's the true shame.
Unless Martha changes her mind. She is the be-all, end-all on this. Unless she changes her mind.
maybe she can be convinced, but she's not going to.
Right.
It's a bad situation. Should Owen be in the Hall of Fame, regardless of whether he died that night in '99 or not? Absolutely, he should.
Right.
He's one of the greatest performers in WWE history. But the fact of the matter is it's likely, more likely than not, that he's never going to see that Hall of Fame ring. He's never going to get inducted. His son, his wife, the Harts will not be on that stage accepting that award. And as I even say that, it is very tragic because Owen was taken away from us entirely too soon. And so many people that we've had, not only on the program, but that we've talked to, Owen was endeared in the wrestling business.
Yes.
And that night was very, very striking to a lot of people. And you can watch it on the WWE network now. You're not going to see it as it aired that day. And it's funny, until recently, part of my VHS tape collection, and for those who are younger watching, that's a thing you used to put into a machine that would play back things.
I had it as well, Dameon. Again, being a blast zone, we recorded those every night. So
yeah. And as sick as it was, several times I put that tape back in and watch it and be like, this is just tough. And I mean, the look on Jerry Lawler's face when he came back from ringside after trying to tend to and assist Owen Hart told you everything you needed to know. Yeah. And like I said earlier, Deborah's promo, I mean, it was a...
You can look at that, and you can also look at the first match after was, I believe it was Nicole Bass and Val Venus.
Oh, the slide trombone.
Right. Yeah, but Nicole Bass had a white shirt on.
Yeah.
And Nicole Bass was wearing some of it. I don't want to go too far in this. We only got a few minutes left. Let's talk about AEW this coming Saturday night. There is
Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, there's a pay-per-view. It's Damien's chance to not be in a negative point situation. I can't say it without laughing. I can't.
Look, there's a couple things to look forward to in this pay-per-view, Double or Nothing from AEW. Sammy Guevara, Orange Cassidy, Cody. That's it. That's all you need. That puts everybody where they need to be. Three of the greatest talents in professional wrestling. Look, I'm intrigued actually to hear, Meathead, your take on Orange Cassidy, because I was not a fan. I didn't get it. And then at Revolution in Chicago, when I was there live a couple of months ago, the one thing that I pulled away from that night, and I actually never talked to him. I was backstage most of the night, never talked to him. But watching him perform in that match and watching him not perform in that match, I'm like, this dude, this is the greatest gimmick ever. Yeah. But it's great because it's not a gimmick. Like, he hands in pocket, kicking shins. It is great. And then you have a Sammy Guevara who the electricity that he exudes is similar only to one other person in the business. I'm going to do it if you're ready. I'm going to do it. Similar only to the electricity exemplified by The Rock. Sammy Guevara is Rock level talent because he's relatable. The women love him. The children want to be him. The children want to grow up to be him, and the men want to be him, including this man. These three, and obviously Cody, who's been endorsed for years and is one of the most tremendous talents in the world. I mean, it's amazing. And then you pepper onto that Chris Jericho, the Matt Hardy, all the great talent.
So here's the thing, Dameon, we got to wrap this up, but I want to kind of do a tease here to get this show, kind of main event tease to get us to start tuning in even more, even to the prime time this week. You are down a talent because you paid the penalty for entry points. I believe you might be picking somebody this week. I know that you're not going to do it here, but
I don't want to go. I don't want to go all Jim Cornette on you, but Becky Lynch is knocked up.
We know this. She said it with her own 2 words.
As Sophia said to Dorothy in the back of the Studebaker, look, yes, I need to pick a replacement for Becky Lynch. I don't know who that's going to be. I'm going to make that announcement by the time Double or Nothing airs, because correct me if I'm wrong, I just need to do it before the pay-per-view happens.
Well, to get the points, it has to be before the pre-show starts.
But that's assuming it's going to be an AEW talent. I've got a lot to pick from. There are a lot of other picks Tremendous talent in the draft.
If you choose to have an AEW talent, you have to have that talent in your lineup by the time the pre-show kicks off.
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm not yelling at you. I want you to be not negative. I feel bad for you. I have, well, not pity, but I have empathy for you because, you're so far down. I mean, you could take away half my roster and I'm still.
Hey. I may be far down, but I'm on the 12-month plan, not the 30-day plan like all the rest of you. Your roster, Drew's roster, Dave's roster, Linda's roster, you all pale in comparison to the dominance that I'm going to show. Come the end of this draft, I will win again, as I do, and I will replace Becky Lynch, if not before Double or Nothing this Sunday from, where is it from?
From an arena. I believe it's in Jacksonville. Or Vegas. I mean, I don't know. Vegas is supposed to be in Vegas, but.
You know what really sucks is, I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. I was to be covering Double or Nothing for Fight TV, like I did for Revolution in Chicago, and I'm truly disappointed I don't get to be there and engage with the talents. And one other person I haven't mentioned who is tremendously phenomenal, and from the documentaries before and all that and I still follow him tremendously now, Darby Allin. It's just the talent in AEW is absolutely fantastic. And I'm not going to fall into that category of AEW can do no wrong, but in all reality, right now, they haven't found a way to do any wrong, and I love that. And Double or Nothing this upcoming weekend, along with Mike Tyson presenting the championship, the TNT championship, once it's won. Don't think they're not going to capitalize on that, because they should. Their momentum is tremendous. Watching Raw last night, I mean, it's like Asuka, great. Charlotte, great. R-Truth, great. Bobby Lashley, great. Seemingly next in line for Drew McIntyre.
Right.
All great stuff, but it's the hospital environment that WWE presents their programming in as of late just makes me disinterested. But at the same time, you've got a great show coming up with Double or Nothing this upcoming weekend from AEW, and I think it's going to shine. And look, I'm going to give kudos and credit where credit is due, and people may dismiss this as, I'm a mark for him, and I endorsed him years ago, whatever. But what Cody has done for the professional wrestling business is admirable. What he has done with AEW is admirable. And if you look at his career, if you look at where he was and where he is now, you just have to look at it in awe, because it is quite amazing.
Absolutely. And real quick, I just got to touch on a Lana thing. My old dear personal friend.
Lana, won't you marry me now?
My old dear close personal friend, Patches Houlihan, said, if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. She chucked about 10 wrenches back there. I mean, I understand she's been watching the Ocho, ESPN 8, but what is with Lana and chucking wrenches? I mean, I'm just saying.
She's got some anger issues, and apparently she's a screamer.
Hey now, and on that note, folks, that is the end of PWR today. Wow. Folks, we got a lot of big content. Let's put a button on that. We got a lot of great content coming up this week. Again, big pay-per-view Saturday night, AEW.
Hey, Meathead, before you close this out, I got to say thank you. You've taken the reins of this podcast, and we appreciate that. I understand that you've also recruited one Matthew Thomas to join us again in the fold. I found him. And you're going to be managing this and presenting this 5 days a week, and that's admirable. So thank you on behalf of the audience. Thank you on behalf of PWR. Absolutely. And it is going to be great. And, I got to say that we didn't have a new edition of Primetime last night. We're in a bit of a transition phase right now. We have launched last week our weekly Primetime Thursday night show with Shane Helms. And we're transitioning the Monday show to Saturdays, where we started with Primetime, and we'll be bringing you that starting next week with the team that you've known to or come to know and love as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Dameon. And Matthew Thomas, we found him somewhere in Colorado. I don't know if he's under the influence, but we're going to be putting him on the air. So.
Hey, you know what? Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. can you recollect or recall with Matthew the night that I visited him in Denver?
I don't know if that's is that NSFW? Can we put that on the air?
Hey, it was all PG. There were grown adults involved. It's fine.
10-4. Well, the video comes out next week. Folks, thank you for listening to PWR Today. Don't forget to have a little meathead in your cup tomorrow with another edition of PWR Today. For Dameon Nelson, I'm the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by.